So, beautiful family, thank you for coming to be here with us. It feels very auspicious to be here with Khentrul Rinpoche. It's auspicious for me because this is a path that I feel very connected to from so many lifetimes to prepare for this moment. I really see it like that. And just even when I met you, it was almost downstairs here 5 years ago. And I can honestly say, Rinpoche, that receiving the Kalachakra understanding of a new time coming into a golden age and everything that you have been helping to transmit, teach and steer us towards coming from Shambhala has definitely changed my life. So I really so grateful for that. And of course, because of that, I want to try and do my very best to expand that so that so many more people in these times of great uncertainty and so much turbulence, so much fear. I mean, just this week, we've had a tsunami in Libya, you know, earthquakes, and many people would say, oh my God, my mom actually said it to me yesterday, I think this is the end of the world. Yeah. You know, and it is the ending of an old paradigm and the coming in of something so new. And so tonight, it feels like a very precious opportunity to discuss our understandings of how we can prepare to fulfill the golden age, which will, by many prophecies, not just the Kalachakra, begin in 2030. And what we're going through in this moment, which is clearly a massive purification for humanity. It's not comfortable or easy, and I would love to talk about that. So yeah, tonight, Rinpoche, you know, I feel like I'm walking a path for 30 years of being a student of something called ageless wisdom. And one of the strongest supports to my path of study has been the understanding of the Kalachakra, how it's truly supporting humanity at this time. And I'd love the opportunity to have a discussion about that. And even maybe to begin with, to ask, how did you come across this? And how has it changed your life and your motivation to share this wisdom? If that's okay, maybe we start with that, because we could go anywhere. Yeah? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Rita. Thank you so much. You're so much more knowledgeable than me. And you have much more understanding people and everything. So it's for me also the great opportunity to, you know, and I know the Kalachakra prophesied, but the others I don't know too much. So
okay.
Yeah. So
yes,
today,
we look at the correlations.
Yes. There is the opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah.
To educate us, everyone.
Thank you.
So to begin my life journey, I born in a nomadic family, so it's very basic. It's absolutely basic and remote. So if you have to buy something, you know, a 1 week journey you have to go.
Wow.
Like that. So enter age 20, illiterate.
Illiterate.
Yes. And don't know how to read, but I learned many things, memorize. All day heard the sheep on the mountain. A lot of different purpose, not just hurting just physical, 100% physical. So your mind they have quiet and a lot of time to focus on more profound things. My parents and so forth for me. So like that. So after age 20, I become monk. Become monk means begin try to learn and read and everything at the same time. So I have a lot of catch up. So then, yeah, until I reach 40. Yeah, that's why I continue full time, educate, meditate, simple life, study, and meditate, to get inner journey. And they're all is good, different trainings, different traditions. I will explore all of them. They're all good. But finally, I made the Kalachakra and try to practice. So this is something extraordinary, I feel. So then after 40, I reached to Western world and learn the language from the beginning. Beginning. So that's it. Externally, it's a little bit hard journey, but yeah, I complete different world. So it's all leading to me the Kalachakra and the Shambhala connection is the most we need this world. That's the most suitable for this world. So I don't thought like that way. So that's why I emphasize on the Kalachakra. Yeah, so that's why all my books and everything about Kalachakra and Shambhala. So yeah.
Thank you. It is amazing just to think of being nomadic and having like no Wi-Fi, no distraction, and just being in nature. That in itself is profound. To feel yourself, that's what we've lost a lot in the West. But I feel like we should look at the topic of Shambhala, because a lot of people think Shambhala is a mystical place that doesn't really exist. And what really blew my mind and touched me, even though I'd always invoked Shambhala and actually feel I come from Shambhala in reality, I really have always felt that. And but what Rinpoche teaches through the Jinang lineage is that Shambhala not only really exists, but we have the details, the fact that it's in the center of the universe, it's encapsulated, it's accumulated by an iron fence, the description of the mountains and the people that live there. And this is such an inspiration for all of us and what it means in relationship to our awakening. The people who live there have aligned and connected to their full Buddha nature. And that there are 960 million cities in Shambhala with the most perfect environment, like not an idealistic mystical situation, but produced this perfect environment where they don't actually need heating or cooling. They don't need to waste energy. They already have this perfect environment with lotus groves everywhere. And think of it like this. What does it mean to be a Buddha or a Bodhisattva? It means that you align to the source of your beingness that's eternal, that exists, and that is in absolute fulfillment, that your whole expression is an outpouring of this connection. And therefore, and as we go deeper into understanding how did this even begin? How did it become that this enlightened society that expanded to 960 million cities of beings, Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in absolute fulfillment? I always experience when I tune into this, I think of these beings in the Tao, constantly in mudras, in the inner absolute bliss state. And that they're transmitting their deepest level of inner peace to inspire us as humanity to come into our awakening. And what I've understood, the more I've studied with Rinpoche, is the profundity of the mantras and the invocations of the entire lineage, how this strengthens you and actually helps you to build what's called your Vajra body, your light body. To prepare, because when you think of the word Vajra, this is like the 8th century Vajra, Padmasambhava, and this is all, this Rinpoche here, he's a Vajra master. His gift to humanity, having done all the practices, the deepest of the studies, to become an embodiment of a transmission, to bless us, to cut through our false matrix illusion that's in duality, having all this conflict inside of ourselves that we've inherited, to how to literally, as his book says, to unveil and deepen on this profound path to express your truth, the truth of your being that is stainless, pure, and eternal, which is your Buddha nature. How can we do this? So this is what blows my mind, to be honest with you, about the Kalachakra and everything that you're teaching of how to strengthen ourselves through the different practices. It's really, there isn't such a direct level of technology, because it's technology, each mantra is a technology. And, you know, when I say that, I mean, like, very specifically, if you think of just the sound of the Om, like, Om, if we were to blow the Om in a speaker and have a frame drum with sound on it, it would bounce to become the Sri Yantra, which is actually the configuration of all the Tibetan stupas all over the world. It's the manifestation of creation, just with the one seed syllable. And then you have somebody that's become so highly realized, like Vajrasattva, which is very much part of the Kalachakra. Vajrasattva will help us to purify ourselves internally through invoking Vajrasattva as like an internal shower through the power of that mantra, for instance, Rinpoche. So I would love you to maybe share something in your understanding about, you know, how the lineage of the Kalachakra is actually assisting people. Please.
Energy of Kalachakra lineage. We have several lineages, but the completion lineage is only one on this earth. That's called Jona. Yeah. So this is the lineage is one is directly come from Shambhala, and the lineage, unbroken lineage, come from Shambhala directly. Secondly, all the language barriers and everything, when you translate, and sometimes you have cultural barrier, sometimes you have language barrier. So the Jonang tradition made 17 lineages combined together and become more practice level, because the others they went more like intellectual level. So they have intellectual understanding, but they don't have this unbroken practice from lower to high. So this is only the Kalachakra lineage that I feel, because I explored the other traditions before I met Jonang. But then I went to the Jonang, then is then I doesn't matter what the others say or their high practices. Then when it comes to the Jonang, then it's not only just I feel, but it's everyone got this yoga practice in they feel something never felt before. And then some people just become even moment of the like jump, and they don't know they're another state of the mind.
Yeah. And
jump and do many things, and then if you don't know, then they become crazy.
Okay.
And then some people make some naughty ones. They try to make like pin or something. Make like this.
Oh, to pierce.
Yeah, but they don't feel it. Because in different state. So this is only this lineage has nobody else. So yeah, it's so that's why I fully dedicated and 100% believe that the humanity, we have a big hope and potential to manifest the better world rather than negative pessimistic. So that's why this is genuine. So yeah, many reasons. So intellectual reasons, logical reasons, and the how personal experiences and many stories we have. Story means it's not something story you don't know the story, but even something story I don't know directly, but I know the person directly who knows this story. Like this, we have done many. Yeah. So depend what we'll discuss today. Yeah. But you would like to discuss me, and I tell one by one.
Okay. Thank you. Well, one of the things that I personally noticed is, I look at this transmission of understanding that there's coming golden age. You could call it that there is a divine plan that is unfolding.
Yeah.
And to me, there is nothing more comforting on this earth to actually know in the time of turbulence, chaos, where we're watching the disintegration of all the selfishness and greed and everything built with wrong motivation, to use a Tibetan expression, is absolutely being exposed all over this earth. And some people might think that's like, oh, this is terrible. There's so much darkness. There's so much darkness. A lot of people get caught into that, Rinpoche. And what the Kalachakra has done for me, and I think for everybody, is actually help us to understand, no, this is because we're all being turned inside out to come into cosmic divine order. Could you maybe talk a little bit more about that? From the way you say it, and then I will share what I see.
Yeah, so this coming golden age and this divine plan, the Shabalakatis have this plan or mission. They have this, and all of them, all this about where they come from is the Kalachakra Tantra.
Yeah.
So the Kalachakra Tantra is it's not some people believe something else better. Some people it's Kalachakra is better. It's not like that. Everybody knows that Kalachakra is the King Tantra. This is the
highest,
the most high and incomparable. But it's many levels. It's even just somebody interested only intellect. Like scholars, even for them is Kalachakra is exception. So like that. So there's many things content. Some people think like some people contribute like describe like encyclopedia.
an encyclopedia.
Yeah. So that's one description. Okay. But the another aspect we think about is the external Kalachakra. They call the whole cosmology and
Yes.
This and everything they call in Kalachakra, so external
Yes.
Kalachakra, and then every individual, our system, they call internal Kalachakra. And then they call alternative Kalachakra, or they call it means enlightened Kalachakra.
Mhm.
So the enlightened culture, I mean, our nature. So if we, the external culture and the internal culture, if we, basically internal culture, if we, our system and our mental attitude and everything, if we do very well and the right direction, and then this external the world going to change. How much we can transform our mind, but the world is going to transform.
Yes.
And then, but this external, the world and our individual system and this enlightened culture, all of them have a coalition. So this mandala is the representation of the enlightened culture.
Mhm.
So which means, like they have three dimensions, like this one called the bliss state, and then the mind mandala, then speech mandala, and body mandala. So the blissful state means the truly enlightened state. Okay, and there is a Kalachakra union images there, and then for instance, in this mandala, we have like 6 Buddha families, means six Buddha unions, everything there. Yeah. So that means, our system is made by 6 elements, and so this is the all is reality is true Buddhas, so true Buddha means like God nature, okay? Yeah. So like that, and then you have, especially the space mandala, we have a lot of 72 yoginis and like that. So that means this culture also emphasize much more feminine aspects. And then the other side you have like 360 goddesses, like if we correlation with 1 year and 600, 660 days like this. So all of them is even like we consider demons and bad things, even they're included. Yeah. So the Kalachakra is called non-dual tantra. Yeah, and then also it's just everything is nothing's how do you say? No good, yeah, it's nothing's excluded. Yeah. Yes. Not excluded, but yes. Not discriminate. Yes. It's not in discriminate. Everything sees is like everything has perfect potential. Yeah. So like that way. So yeah, so that's why this it's up to us, like the golden energy, how fast come is up to us. Yeah, I really appreciate that, and I just want to go into that a little bit more because, quite often in the West, people hear the word tantra and they think it's related to sex. And actually, really, I just want to elaborate on that. It's the purification of the mind. Highest Tibetan Tantra is that non-dual mind that isn't projecting doom and gloom or separating. And that's what leads to the bliss ultimately. That inner peace of getting to be able to include where people are. Let's just take it in terms of this world and now and your situation and your family now, what you were born into, all the conflict, everything that didn't feel good. So that's why I love this, because I keep applying it to say, how do we look at this in our lives? Oh yes, we are going to chant for our family and understand that they are where they are now to bring harmony, because the objective of doing such a practice is that we become peaceful in everything that we're seeing. Would you say that's true? Yeah. And that actually it's through the power of the mantras and the practice itself that literally changes your etheric field
to give you a strong radiant Vajra or light body. They mean the same. So that you're not knocked about by our lower mind that's seeing negativity everywhere. That you can include and open, and that's one of the biggest gifts of this practice, is the purification of our minds, to hold the highest view. And that's what I feel is going to move all of us forward. But of course, we have to learn to discern, discriminate, don't we? That's the hard bit. Yeah, so thank you. That is so helpful. You know, that the lotus right in the middle is the highest bliss, what's going to take us to the highest bliss. So what would you suggest? How to come to that inner bliss inside?
Oh, I cannot suggest one way. It's every individual have every different way, but the one thing is, many different traditions come everywhere. Everywhere they have the same essence, but some people, they miss a little bit. How to say? Miss out little bit pieces. For instance, the most, because when I wrote the Ocean of Diversity,
Yes,
the whole religion book, 12 years I studied and we wrote that book, research. So I met many different traditions, scholars and practitioners, and then I discussed, and the missing part is everybody's missing part is the most important is the bodhicitta. So bodhicitta means you have limitless wish, not only wish, but you limitless wish with limitless courage. Which means I want my number one priority. I want to liberate all sentient beings. Me. I want to do this. So this this is many were missing. And then the other missing is always people think me, and they they don't understand there's many levels of truth. And then we are the like a normal life is a kind of most superficial how do you say the untruth. So that's why some people question me, say, is the Shambhala is a real place or just some people say state of mind.
Okay.
Some people say it's a real place or just mythical. So my answer is it is both. I say it is a state of mind. It is a real place.
Yes.
Because everybody that's contradicted.
No, certainly we can all get our heads.
I say both.
Yeah.
And then is red. Then I say, what do you mean red place? I know everybody's rare place means something our five senses can detect it. That is real. Anything else not, then it's not real. So people think that way. So then I say, our five senses, as an ordinary five senses, you cannot detect Shambhala right now. But it's Shambhala, because that's the Shambhala more real than this. What our five senses can say. That's right
absolutely.
Now. That's a way I try to tell .
No, I love that. So So
that means more subtle. If we go more deeper, that means more real. And then this five senses and everything we this is just one level of the truth.
So when I think about bodhicitta, it automatically links me and connects me to the Bodhisattva vow. Because, and I love what Rinpoche said, because when you think, what is bodhicitta? It's like the motivation to be in selfless service, put in an English way of thinking or a Western way of thinking, it's selfless service. How can I benefit all beings? Like we would have an instant golden age when we get to that point, that's our motivation everywhere, every day in every situation. You know, walking into somebody's house, you see it being a mess, just get into that sink, start washing up the dishes, you know, that level. And just how can I serve? What can I give back? And actually, Rinpoche, I always say to people, when we talk about, am I awake, am I not awake? I always say the awakened person looks to see what can they give, and the unawakened person is looking to see what can they get. And what I can give is the cultivation of bodhicitta. And when I use that word at the beginning, fulfillment, the Buddha nature being absolute fulfillment, it's like there's nothing more than wanting to give. Because you're fulfilled, because you come back to your wholeness, your totality of expression. And that is what I see is going to bring us into this golden age. And the more I've done this practice and lived within this principle, the smoother my personal life became, the more abundance, the more everything flows everywhere I go, in every situation, because the motivation becomes purer and purer.
Yeah. So usually I need to clarify, people say, you know, your selfless service is don't think about your physical body, you know, can do everything. Don't think that way. But the most important, you change your mind, you know, your attitude and motivation change that way.
Yes.
And, you know, and then it's become like this, you know. So that's why if we aim for our golden age, on the whole humanity, if we think that way, and we influence in our friends and scholars that way, and then can be very fast, you know, like transform everybody's mind. So I talk like that way. It's not about our limited body have to do, you know, you have to solve all the external problems with your limited body and walking and go in there. So it's not that kind of exhausted
Yes.
service. It is what Rita said, you know, if you give, you know, if you have people, what I can give.
Yeah.
When we have this attitude, then we forget this smallness, me, always people very defensive of me, you know, like always defensive, you know, like that one is it becomes smaller. So then you don't have this, you know, when you everything if you looking very small, then it's everything difficult.
Yeah.
But if you have looking big, then it's everything. What she said is become easier. Why? Because whatever you think is big, then it's everyone same, you know, like same. Everyone wanted the same happiness, you know, like so. Why, if everyone wanted the same, why only just think me, you know? So the next always all the problems come from me too much, and in the family, within the couple, within the community, everywhere, just all the problems guarantee come from me.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so true. Yeah, well, I found myself, like wherever I've gone in this last 4 years, after receiving the preliminary Kalachakra and understanding a little bit about practice. I'm only like a novice student. I'm not any master on any level. Just want to be clarified on that. But whenever I was in the sea, maybe in Kenya or Sri Lanka or Spain, and I would just chant Om Hantam Soha, and literally just making that, holding that invocation, that prayer, that mantra to radiate out into the waters, to feel the changes that are coming, that every family, that coastline, could start to connect with their own Buddha nature and to feel peaceful. and to have changes and feel safe that something very auspicious is coming on this earth that isn't wishful thinking. That's how I'm seeing this. It's something so powerful. And Rinpoche said, you know, because I love your book, The Ocean of Diversity. I'm hoping do we have some? We've got some here that you might want afterwards. Because my study is to understand from the Vedas, from the work of the Christ, from the indigenous traditions, because all of them have the prophecy that now actually is the time. We can see all the signs. This is the time. None of us can pretend it isn't. But what are we all doing individually to live and be that change that we want to see on this earth? And then it comes back to everything Rinpoche is saying, which is this motivation of what can I give? But it's an internal posture. That's how you could describe it. It's internal posture, that good motivation. But it really helps to know that you can align to this high, pristine, profound place, Shambhala, where the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas have gone before us in that state, and to connect to that, to feel your own Dharmakaya nature, that spacious, clear light within you. Do you know the word Dharmakaya?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Okay. Sometimes they do. Sometimes the Rinpoches don't know that word in English or Sanskrit.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Okay. No, just checking. Just checking. Yeah. So, how do you see this next 5 or 6 years before we come to 2030? Like, how are you seeing this progression happening on the earth?
So that's very most difficult.
Sorry.
Answer.
Peacefully.
Huh?
Peacefully.
Yeah. So because often we have many bad things happening in the world like this, and then people always think in a negative way, you know. Oh, it's that terrible. It become this, and then we have the third world war, and then blah blah blah. But I always see we cannot say how bad things happen. But so always, if there's nothing really totally bad, because anything is bad things. You usually think it's bad, very bad things. There is good things leading to good things, you know, always.
Yeah.
I always see that way, and my experience is like that in my life, but also I usually see this way.
Yeah.
So that's why it's right now it sounds quite bad in the world, many things happening. But to me, this is maybe the indication of the, you know, we are leading to the good, you know. So then when I think about how many bad people in the world, how many and good people, I always see the majority is good. It's logical, it should be, because everybody have a good nature. How can be that's also bad, you know?
Yeah.
It's always bad in temporary and short time, you know, bad aspects. The deep truth is, you know, the good nature, you know.
Yes.
When you finish this dream, and then we call Dharmakaya, and still you are covered. That time we call Buddha nature.
Yes.
But exactly the same, you know, different time, you have different names, but it's the same.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why the method, what I told you before, you know, like I said, 2 important things missing. Some traditions will be missing, but that's what I'm telling you. When we say there's many levels of truth.
Yeah.
And then these 5 senses, what we touch is a more superficial level, which means what does help, if you understand this, what does help is we are not too attached in this level. You know? So that means you are going more deeper, more and go deeper. More deeper means you are like from here to here,
Yeah.
journey to here.
Yeah.
So that's why. But the motivation, always thinking, the all section means I want to serve, not just serve their little needs, but it's a serve that the ultimate is serving,
Yeah.
So think that way is perfect. You have perfect vision to the middle. Otherwise, always you vision here, vision here, vision here, vision here. Like you not vision to the absolute truth. So that's why, it's always from my young age. I have similar, like the similar visions, similar thing. I don't think everybody else may always. And
Yeah.
sometimes you not fit in, like.
I think a lot of people here can justify.
Especially with your child or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this no, I feel more and more hope. The whole world, people understanding more.
Yes.
I think that way.
Yes, I see that. Something that really sits deep with me is just even these words, the profound ladder, to understand that there is a ladder within ourselves, and that's what we're all doing. We're going from being in the unconscious to actually come into a much higher clarity, which is climbing an internal ladder. And so in many different systems, I see that as a big purification process. And that purification is, the Buddha gave 84,000 teachings on this. I'm not trying to change or talk like I'm adding anything into it. But it's also in other traditions. And it all comes down to the heart of compassion. But that has to start with ourselves, Rinpoche, doesn't it? I feel that we have to have some compassion towards the places that, because I would say pretty much everybody here goes through neurosis, the neurotic mind that compares and doesn't feel that we're worthy or good enough. Most of humanity suffer with this issue. And that blocks us in a very deep and big way. And then we also have massive imprints of being very self-critical that leads to being critical outwardly and finding fault. That keeps us on the emotional treadmill, stuck in samsara with what you could look at as a false matrix. So again, that's why I love the Vajra, because it's how to cut through the false matrix in ourselves to purify the mind that keeps being in these habitual negativities. Do you maybe want to share anything about that?
Yes, how much we are, I said many levels of truth. How much the most superficial levels. If how much we are stuck in there, then we are much more judgmental and hopelessness.
Yeah.
Because we only see the superficial truth.
Yeah.
It's not. It's still we have called truth because it's make little bit difference. It's something you drink or not drink, you sleep, not sleep. Like you eat, no, it makes difference. It's somebody to be nice to you, not nice to you makes the differences. That's why we call truth.
Yeah.
But it's most superficial truth, because you are when you're stuck there, then we more easy to offend, more easy to
offend.
fragile, everything. But then if you go more, you have to understand. Oh, this is just like dream, and there's more truth and under, and then understand this more. How we do this, because we have to focus. Because if we too distracted externally, and always the happiness conditions looking for external things, always like this way, and then we disconnected the truth. So that's why we are fragile. So it can go further, more, and more you feel more in the truth, then you go more. Then you become indestructible, Vajra.
Yes.
Because it's not become, it is you are.
Your nature.
Your nature, the ultimate truth is like this. Ultimate nature is like this. So that's why, that's why the another way, when you're thinking about, oh, how can I, my number one priority, I want to serve all sentient beings. Fulfill all everybody's wish. Not talking about a superficial wish, okay, but it's I want to give the ultimate they want. Like this way, that's tool of transform your mind. And the other way, you are not stuck anything, any situation, anything you think is bad or anything. We just that's just we think just bad dream. Like just bad dream.
Yeah.
And then you wake up, no problem. That's why even in a dream, if you try to change, then it's like your dream. If you change, then you have nightmare or anything, no problem.
Yeah,
it's the same thing. Same thing.
It is the same thing. I really love that. In the Vedas, they say that this entire life is one night's dreaming in our soul's evolution. And I know that in the Buddhist way, they don't say that there's a soul, but to me, the soul is actually the cultivation of bodhicitta.
The soul is just the language barrier.
Yeah, it's a language barrier. It really means
because if somebody says soul and then the other school says soul, soul it means self. Self is you have to be selfless. It's not self. If it's not selfless, it's not emptiness. It's not emptiness, then it's not Buddha nature. The one-way training, people think that way.
Yeah.
But if you say a soul is like see as Buddha nature, soul and
That's
Buddha nature,
same thing.
Then there's no problem.
Perfect.
Even if you say God, no problem. But God is see my truth is the God. My
the highest.
Then Buddha nature as God, my and the truth God, or you say a soul, doesn't matter what you name it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I agree.
The most important, you just believe this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or and even align to it. Yeah. So you said something there that I felt was
even
important.
the God, like if we think, oh, God is something external, then we have the problem, Then we have philosophical many problems. Oh, if God created the world, and like God, everything up to everything is God, then God is like more judgmental, and God send you the hell, send you, then that doesn't work, like even philosophical, intellectual level. So it's the God is you understand in the truth, and then you have solve all the problems.
Definitely true. We definitely create them anyway.
Yeah.
Don't we? Yeah.
Our strength and the mind, we have strength. Strength have to be in the mind, not in the physical body.
Yes.
Physical body strength is always limit, not limitless.
Yes.
Okay, but the mind strength can be limitless.
Yes.
Okay, so that's why we have to understand this. If the God or Buddha nature, if we understand that way, or even just believe that way, is that strength of the mind. This brings all strength, and every strength originates from this.
I do agree with that, and I also see even beyond the mind, which comes back to the Dharmakaya nature, that spacious, clear light.
Yeah, but also when we say
emptiness.
mind or beyond mind, it depends on where you're thinking.
Yes.
When you're thinking is everything in our mind, it's our mind is Buddha nature, mind is Dharmakaya. If you think that way, that's also okay. It's not correct, like some level of language, but if how you think, no problem,
Yeah. Yes. I love that too. Yeah. So
many intellectual people, they debate only on the words, not
just on the words,
and they never end, and so it's too much debate and never ends. Then finally becomes like argument in the sake of argument.
Yeah.
Yeah. Argument, sake of argument.
For the sake of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
like this, argument, the debate is a sake of win. It just becomes like this, and not become the understand the truth.
Yeah.
But if we practice, then we understand. It doesn't matter how many people think you are crazy or whatever. You have something in here.
So one thing many years ago, when I would observe people that were Buddhist practitioners, and you could feel that they were thinking of this life being a dream. I felt that quite a lot of people were cut off energetically from the suffering. And I just feel it's a valuable story to share. One particular day, because I know about suffering. I have 4 children, single parents, many things, watching my partner die from a road traffic accident, my house burning down. I've had a lot of crazy stuff happen. But in one of the really deep contemplation meditations, transmissions, one of those things, what I suddenly understood deeper, that the Bodhisattva vow is to take a body, come into a family, absorb the suffering and transform it with the purity of the mind, taking it through the heart. And I feel that this is really valuable, important information for all of us, because sometimes people get confused about karma and they think, oh, I was born into a family where there's abuse and violence and alcoholism and drug addiction, or all these kind of things, and think, oh, I've got terrible karma. And then I started to go deeper into thinking, well, maybe it's not. Maybe it's actually that as your Bodhisattva vow, you chose to incarnate, to absorb it, to transform it internally and bring light and peace and harmony to your family and your community, because that's the only way we're going to have a better world and enlightened society. And, it's a very different way to look at this Bodhisattva vow. In the Hindu traditions, or some traditions, they think about ascension. Oh, I've been so good all my lifetimes, and this is my last lifetime on this earth. I'm ascending now. You've heard that, haven't you? Especially in Glastonbury. Yeah. Fully astral. So the interesting thing here is, when you look at it, this is what Rinpoche is talking about. The motivation that's so strong in our heart that we retain within the continuum between our lifetimes. I'm coming back. I'm going to keep taking incarnations until all beings are enlightened. All beings are awakened. This is really important factor here. That it's just everything that we are. Because we are a human family that are going to grow together. And this is what's been so inspiring about Shambhala, when Rinpoche tells the stories, even how when a long time ago, Shambhala, the community of Shambhala were on this earth. Will you tell that story, Rinpoche? Please, it's very important.
Yes, I think there's many myths and difficult to understand in the Shambhala, and everybody try to search on this earth, and because there is if you look at the text, if you check literally, then like you have in this earth somewhere and direction and everything, how you go and like this and
Yes.
And then try to many people make huge effort and try to search in this, but it's only one little thing misunderstanding, they have this trouble because so you have to understand, because everybody is thinking, oh, Shambhala, whenever from beginning it must be still there, like
On the earth.
always thinking that way. And they even said 960 million cities, even say that then is there is the like our earth it becomes so tiny, compared that the 960 60 million cities. Then our Earth is so small and only few thousand cities. So then they don't even think that. They're still thinking, oh, the Shambhala have to somewhere. Some people say, oh, Himalaya. Some people say, oh, Mongolia. Some people Russia. Some people say, oh, and the middle of Earth. So, yeah, some people say inside Earth, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Think that. Okay. The people don't understand how they symbolize, how everything transforms, not always stay like all the time in one place. In nothing's like this, even this level. They don't think about this, and they don't think about like the subtleness. The subtleness means very big and powerful. Always people think subtle means city, subtle means small.
Oh,
so that's the problem.
Inner
That's why if we say if you understand the subtle means, then 960 million, yes, possibility anywhere. So that's why. It's the most important. We don't think anything externally and anything like. Objectively, more subjective.
Yes.
Everything is subjective. How we think, how we accumulate, in that way. But people be talking about karma, people say, oh, you have karma problem. Oh, I have bad karma. Oh, must be good karma. And then you just depressed and hopeless. Which means you're thinking only one karma. But you can have trillions innumerable karmas. Why you have to stuck on one karma? because we already have it thinking too small. So that's why. But what Rita say, instead another way of attitude.
Yeah.
But also another way attitude, you can think of, oh, this bad karma experience in me is a purification.
Yes.
Purify my debt, my problems. So you should be happy. You should be, it's not hopeless. It should be very hopeful.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying before, all bad things never bad. Nothing's forever bad. Anything.
Yeah.
So leading to the good. So that, Shambhala, I think everybody understands the peace, but they not fully understand. So that's why I wrote the Shambhala book very big, because everybody that's so small. So small, and then they get some aspect of, but they don't get the whole thing.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I've contemplated this a lot, and when I've been in visions and seen certain things, I actually also feel that there is like a fifth kingdom just parallel to this earth that is going to be so much stronger, more revealed when humanity's brow center starts to open. And we are in this place of deep level of purification, and we've unified with the one, and we know ourselves as one human family. And in the Bible, that's called the fifth kingdom of the soul, but it's here, it's here. So I've often thought, it might be called Shambhala, but it's also here on the inner planes. And that's a really, I really love that you say it, because from what I'm seeing, wherever I travel around the world, people are getting to experience the subtlety and shimmering electric fire coming through their body, a lot of physical symptoms of awakening, a lot of alignment and calmness that comes when you actually recognize there is a divine plan that's unfolding, and it's a very auspicious time to be here. So that's, again, I'm coming back to Vajra, because I feel like we are being pierced to break open to see a new truth where we can, and actually that's really a question, Rinpoche. because I really loved when you talked about which I realized we went a bit off topic, when you told us the story about the beings on the earth that, the first Kalki king on the earth, and Shambhala, how he had to harness and not persuade, but inspire a whole community to become selfless, see themselves as one human family, and come into a whole new level of being. Could you just talk a little bit about that? Because that really inspired me to understand that's what we're doing now.
Yeah. So, because people think, oh, Shambhala is always one thing, one place, like same exactly, never change. That's impossible. Even you just check literally in the text. The first Shambhala is maybe it's in much more civilized kingdom, but it cannot be perfect. Why? Because seeking for Kalachakra,
Yeah.
the Suchandra, first the king, he's not first the king, but he's seeking for the Kalachakra. He's the first time, and then he received from Buddha Kalachakra. But when we say Buddha, not like Buddha, historical, like monk, simple monk, it's not that.
Okay.
This Buddha transformed Kalachakra union.
Okay.
And then he has two mandala, one mandala above, like 600, the 600 deities, and this mandala are down, have, 636 deities like this. And then he's become the middle, and then he taught, because they are high, incredible high beings.
Absolutely.
So he not talk like a simple monk, and
Yeah.
ask, oh, can meditate. No, yes. So that's why he taught that. So then he wrote commentary and the first king. Then seven reigns of the king. Kalachakra practiced in Shambhala, but not the whole Shambhala. It's not the whole Shambhala.
Okay.
Still, they have a different, like levels of religion, everything.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yes, and
so
then
when it started, they're
yes.
all different.
And then the age of the king, Manjuya Yasha, he said, like a simple way of saying, oh, we need everybody practice Kalachakra. The whole nation, we need everybody Kalachakra. And then the other religion, the other thing, something, like, oh no, we don't want to become this. This is our religion, like this way.
Right.
So and that way, and then he said, oh, if anybody not interested in this, leave to Shambhala, leave Shambhala. And
Okay, no, it makes sense.
leave Shambhala, and then some of them they try to leave, and went many days journey, and then tired and sleeping. And that time, like the magical messengers, they brought back to the Kalachakra mandala. So I think that time, that means it's one way is look at use the force, they're forced to bring back. You can criticize, oh, there's no freedom, blah blah blah. You can say that, but it's then once they reach there, then they understood, they understand this is so important. They feel something divine. So, and then he initiated Kalachakra. So that means that time is then first, and until then he become they all become Kalachakra practitioners. So then, since then, this king, we don't call king anymore because it's not like kinghood.
No.
They call Rigdan. Rigdan means Kalki. In Tibetan called Rigdan, but in Sanskrit called Kalki, which means is unbiased. Like unbiased and or no racial discrimination, no religious discrimination. Some people think, oh, that means everybody become a Buddhist. It's not about Buddhism. Kalachakra means go beyond Buddhism, go beyond Buddhism, go beyond all other religion. Religion means it's steps to, So this is go beyond religion, like that. Only just today hold from the Buddhist tradition, but not all tradition, only one tradition left, The others don't have Kalachakra and pieces. So that's why if this is the hold from Hindu or for the Christian or anybody called today, this is the authentic, then should be the same information.
Yeah.
Same information.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that. So that's why, like then transform Shambhala. Then transform Shambhala. Shambhala transformed. So then after that, it's normal person, not visible anymore. Only you have spiritual status, experiences, or special occasions and individuals experience, but it's not everybody, because that means go beyond normal people's karmic world, go beyond that. So that's why we need to make connection, connection, we need the connection to this earth, Shambhala, help us transform.
Yes.
That's why we need connection. Because Kalachakra transformed the Shambhala, so it's going to transform our world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. I'm just, Matty, could you just open the door to get some air in here? Thank you. Yes, I'm really hearing that, but I guess that when people think, oh, does this mean I've got to have like a really big commitment to, I was thinking when I first received the teachings, like, oh my gosh, how long does it take to go through the Kalachakra book, like the prayers and everything? How am I going to fit in an hour and a half a day?
This is a long time. Everybody present the tantras and presented tantras, very limited way.
Yes.
Oh, you have to you sign up something. You take an vow means you sign up something. You sign up something means you have this commitment to task every day, task. So which means you're not focusing the essence. You focus something, something a branch, and you emphasize too much on that branch.
Yeah,
that's the
I
problem.
so agree. And so after a while, what I realized was actually my entire life is part of the Kalachakra practice, everything. There's nothing separate. And I realized that's it. It's just, it all comes from the middle, doesn't it? The motivation to want to support and help. And, the mind, everything you said, it's just life-changing in that way. And I love that you also taught us, you said it, which I've repeated lots of times to lots of people, which is you do not have to be Buddhist. You can be Hindu, you can be Muslim, you can be Christian, but to just have that purity of motivation.
Yeah.
And you can also invoke the strength. This is something else I'm beginning to realize that I think is very important to share. Every Buddha, like let's say medicine Buddha or Vajrasattva or Green Tara, White Tara, all aspects, Manjushri, Padmasambhava, they all have come to Buddhahood with a responsibility, and then they are giving a gift. And that gift is their mantra to clean us, to strengthen us, and to build our Vajra-like body, to really help us to deepen our Buddha nature. I mean, it's as simple as that. And I can't actually get over how strengthening this is to everybody, always. And I have a load of students that are actually Muslim in Dubai. I have to be a little bit quiet about it in case their husbands find out. Okay. But they chant, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
Because basically they have seen it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, the truth is go beyond religion. The truth go beyond gender. The truth go beyond race.
Everything. So it's so profound. Yeah. So, would you be open to maybe answering a few questions? Do you think so, or do you want to share a little bit more about anything that we've touched upon? How do you feel? Because we probably have got maybe another half an hour, 40 minutes. What do you feel?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think some of people's misunderstanding is they think I'm Christian, so I have to be forever Christian.
Yeah.
I'm Muslim, is I have to be forever Muslim. I'm Buddhist, I have to be forever Buddhist, right? But it's you are Buddhist now and you are Christian now is just your temporary, like your path. You have to go beyond that. If not go beyond that, then is many contradictions, So then whatever you describe the ultimate achievement, or whatever we call accomplishment is not the same. So one of them have to be wrong, right? So that's why it's
But I think that's what I love about the high tantras, because there isn't wrongness. I mean, in my view, and it may be wrong, but I absolutely believe that the Kalki king is also the Christ. It's the same. It's the light coming from the heart of the source of all beauty. Like it's coming from the ultimate of truth, and it has the same motivation. Always the great teacher comes to lift humanity, to help humanity to progress.
Yeah, your religion or everything, your culture, your religion, your race, everything you have to see as your temporary car, temporary house, temporary needs. You just have to see that way, and you have to go beyond that.
That's lovely.
Go beyond that. So who explains much more beyond is Kalachakra Tantra. He explains much more beyond. So,
Yeah.
and then many other religions, even the Buddhist other sects, they explain is something the world will become worse and worse. Okay, but the Kalachakra said no. There is huge hope. The worse work, but it's with the material. So that means like a million years later, then getting better. But Kalachakra Tantra said no.
Now.
Yes, we can anytime start because Shambhala connection and precise this they have a details.
I love that.
Okay.
Yeah, I really adhere to that, because we're watching. How many of you here feel like it blows your mind to see how many people are awakening around you in your life? Month by month, year after year, that have watched a speed up of people coming to a better place, and more peaceful, and more at peace with all of what's happened, more acceptance. Yeah. It's here, it's coming. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, also, whatever we, some conflicts or anything, problems, always the truth is win. The end, right? So our truth, think about truth, our truth is Buddha nature, which means that the perfect, everything is absolute perfect.
Exactly.
That's going to be win, cannot be lose, impossible. So that's even indication, I always talk like this way, indication, why everybody even want to be happy? Why don't want to be suffering? So that alone shows our truth is happiness, is not the most deep level of
The yearning.
Happiness and the supreme bliss is not the suffering. Suffering, all these problems temporary. So also the other one show why we want this bodhicitta. Why we want why some people could think, why I have to care everybody. I just care myself, that's enough. But it's our true nature is not that.
Yeah.
That's why even think about the majority people, if they would like to help or they would like to destroy. The majority people definitely want to be help, not destroy. Even you are individual, think about how many times you want the whole world you want destroyed. Have you ever thought like this?
So true.
But how many you get happiness when you get help or something? And you able to do something, how you try and help, you're not happy. Think about that. All this is an indication of our true is the happiness and perfect, and it's not about the suffering and terrible,
Yeah.
All these things, whatever it is, that's just temporary, very little temporary. Well, temporary, or you can say illusion. Same, just we have not meal. Then we wake up.
I agree with that, and I feel that through this practice, you can actually help to bring alleviation to suffering, for sure. In fact, I think that the whole of Buddhism, all the monks that give their lives to chant for other people and are in the ultimate selflessness, not to possess or earn anything, all the nuns, that they are, they understood that what would be the point of trying to accumulate loads of things, carrying on samsara, I'll just actually chant and be peaceful and radiate the light of peace through this body, through this mind, through my emotions. I feel like we have to be careful to not think, oh, it's just temporary suffering, that this child's got this disease or this woman is nearing her life. We also actually can support and assist that suffering from our own inner peace by them knowing and understanding, by us understanding their suffering is temporary. And actually, a very beautiful way to think about this is I see that all disease, 2 years ago, I had breast cancer and a mastectomy, and it was a very good, bring me deeper into my body and strengthen and deepen my practice. And it was an amazing thing. But what I see with all illness and all suffering, it helps us to come down and in to find the light of our Buddha nature. It just absolutely does that. Anywhere, in every situation, whether we're talking about the most difficult thing for us to even accept is the starvation of the people in the Yemen. Somehow we are so disassociated from other people's suffering that we kind of push it away. It takes us to have to really look at the footage of the people that have just been in that earthquake or in that tsunami and had their whole lives collapse, and allow ourselves to feel what they've gone through, to deepen the bodhicitta inside ourselves, to strengthen our motivation to chant for them to not be in suffering in their next lifetime. That's certainly the motivation of all my practice and all what I've understood from the Buddha's teachings, that we must actually also feel the suffering so that we can strengthen our practice to help them deepen in their practice somehow for the future. Do you agree with that?
I think many people have a little bit misunderstanding, and not little bit, a huge misunderstanding, when Buddhists say, oh, life is natural suffering, and then people think, oh, what how pessimistic in a terrible statement. Some people say, oh, life is like a half glass full. Some people say, oh, life is wonderful, blah, blah. But it's real truth meaning is, anytime go the opposite you expected. Okay? That potential anytime. So who can deny that?
Yeah.
So that's it, just given awareness, it's not, everything is not going to happen what you expected and what you wish for.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to go that way. So if you go every day, that way, then it's the wrong way, actually.
Yeah.
Yes, it doesn't have to go that way. So that's why I think about each of your individuals. Anytime if you have huge suffering, if you haven't, through this, I can guarantee not just the suffering, you had something, what Rita said, you got something from this.
Yeah. A gift.
Any of you can say, oh yes, I had huge suffering, but I haven't get anything from this. If you have anything, you can tell me today. I believe nobody. Yeah, that's why it's just awakening. It's about awakening. How you wake or not wake.
Yeah.
It's not mere or awaken. You wake or you have not mere. That's all.
Yes.
That's the matter. That's the difference. Is the whole life. And we say good, bad, wonderful life, not terrible life, whatever you say, just dream, So that's why if we are understanding this means we're awakening. Lack of understand everything, then you stuck to one place, one area, adjust, So that means you are still not awake yet. So that's why we just need taking the way awakening path. Yeah. So if you have questions, if you have time.
Yeah, I think we have a little bit of time. Yeah.
Just Rinpoche. So I have a question about compassion. So do you want to share something about compassion?
Yes, I always clarify compassion. I think usually people idea compassion means is there's people suffering. I'm very sad for them. I want to do something. People think that way. But actually, compassion is, if you look more deeper level, compassion is not sadness. It's not sadness, and it's not sympathy. It's courage. You have a strong courage. So that's why compassion is care.
Yeah.
You really cares. Why you care? Because you have strength. And you have courage to care, but careless is the opposite. The careless is you don't care because you couldn't bother. You couldn't bother means you have no courage. So that's why I always describe that compassion is perfect masculine nature. Actually, like this, the love is the perfect feminine nature. They are always together. It's one nature, two aspects. Okay, but when we not understanding this, then we have less courage. Yeah, less courage, and we not inspired because we don't understand the real meaning. Yeah.
And would you say that wisdom comes from love and courage when they're together?
Yes, like how your love and compassion, how pure means come with wisdom. So when you come with wisdom, then you have your compassion and love is big strength, never become problem.
Yeah.
But when we have this compassion and love is kind of like contaminated with ignorance like this, then that's why we say, oh, we have love is a pain, There's many problems come from so-called love and compassion, sad and distance, fear, hopeless, distance because lack of wisdom combined together. Why not combined together? Because you're not understanding the true love and true compassion. Yeah, you are kind of like it's not. I wouldn't say zero love and zero compassion. Never nobody zero love and zero compassion. But it's contaminated. The possessiveness, the ignorance, and distance. Yeah.
So what I'm understanding is that by practicing the mantras and doing the work, in our inner world, we're actually raising our vibration to such a level that we can enter into Shambhala. And the people who left, who said they wanted to leave Shambhala, couldn't leave Shambhala because their vibration had developed to such a level that they were brought back. Is that correct?
A question for me or you?
I think it's for you.
But I not fully understand.
Okay, well, I would say I agree with you, Dechen. She said that through the mantras,
Vibration.
and the vibration of the mantras and doing the work and actually really being consistent to establish this in your energy field, that it raises your frequency, your vibration, then you can have access into Shambhala. Is that, do you understand it like this?
Or some people saying to me, or you, if you saying this, is that correct?
Yes, she's asking, is that correct?
Yeah, yes, but not everybody in that way, you know.
Some people.
Yeah, for some people through the mantra, some people through the compassion, some people, through the other practices, you can.
Yes, it's not just. And that's important. I would say.
What other practices would be able to enter Shambhala without mantra?
Can be anything. You are motivated by this bodhicitta, and then these two things I say,
So dedicating it to the all beings.
As classical Buddhist language, we call understand the emptiness. Because like this, but a simple way to understand it is more, you understand the level of truth. I say, you have some direction of this level of truth. You're not stuck on one truth, basically. And then motivated by this love and compassion, this bodhicitta. That way, anything you do.
So doing good works in the world could be
anything.
Oh, yeah, that's, yes.
Yeah.
Basically, in one lifetime, it might be that your practice actually was to find that you could not be resentful, cooking the children the dinner every day, going shopping and getting the money to buy them the food, even when they were ungrateful, rude, and didn't clean up, right? That could be a practice, just that, to get to the point that you could do it with unconditional love and steadiness that could help transform and raise the vibration. Another practice might be the people who think, I'm going to plant a tree, as many trees as I can on this earth, or grow organic vegetables and gift them to my community. Like there's countless ways. It's not all about just the mantra, but the mantra and the practice definitely strengthens you in times of great turbulence, like this moment.
Motivation.
Yeah, but there's so many people already on that track everywhere, all the time. Yeah, thank you. There was a gentleman at the back. Yes, brother.
I just offering gratitude for your sharing and often much appreciated your teaching. I wonder if I can ask a personal question, because it's your personal experience which has brought you to this place of wisdom. I'm curious, would you be able to share an example of your greatest suffering, or perhaps not your greatest suffering, but a great suffering, and your greatest learning that went with it, or a great learning? Would you be able to share and help with that?
My great suffering.
Yes, that then became your wisdom and your teaching and understanding.
Yeah, I lost my father when he's only 48, and he suddenly died. Just lack of understanding the sickness, the lack of is very simple treatment. So I have incredible parents, and then sure everybody love their parents, but we are just unconditionally love each other unbelievably. So when my father lost, I just feel the whole universe is up and down like this. Yeah, that makes me 100% dedicate my life, and for the Dharma, because Dharma basically this 7-day community, give the forgive myself, selfless. That's how I start. Yeah, but also not only that, but it's sometimes people how do you say, people who lack of understanding profound Dharma, people who use many politics and many other things each time to very, very unfair things and shocking things people do. That's also a very, very big pain.
Yeah.
But then a few years later, you look back, oh, that's so good. If
Yes.
that not happened, this not happened.
Exactly.
So these many things I have happened. Yeah, so I lost my father, and then the 1 year later, I lost my second, my brother. Like 1 year younger than me. He's 19 years old. He just suddenly killed by a lightning.
Oh my gosh. That's incredible.
Yes.
Wow.
Also, this, like for others, like some others, he going for others to work, and then on the way killed.
Incredible.
So some of my relatives, they want to blame these people. So if you blame them, then you can get some money, wealth, like this. And then my mother's don't want this.
Yeah.
I also didn't want.
Yeah.
We didn't do anything. But some of our relatives, of course, they want something from them.
Wow.
Because that's custom,
Very strong. Thank you. That's a beautiful answer. Thank you, Rinpoche. Who else? Yeah.
Which I hear that quite a lot of practices were found as a dharma. How came Kalachakra to humanity? How came the Kalachakra Tantra to your humanity?
Do you understand this? Very good question. Thank you.
How to come to humanity?
No, what he's asking is, maybe you could describe it from how the Kalachakra was actually hidden as a practice for over 1,000 years. He's asking how it started to be revealed as a Torma. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How revealed to the humanity?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is actually first didn't come to the humanity because it's normal human beings is probably not good
Too
enough.
advanced.
Yeah, too advanced. So that's why first the Shambhala came from Suchantra. He requested Buddha, and then Buddha taught that before I talk in story, and when he Kalachakra taught me, he transformed the whole world, like and the audience point of view, the whole world is like transformed Kalachakra mandala, and then Buddha transformed this Kalachakra union, and then he taught 4 phases. They have 4 classes. 4 phases. They have 4 classes of Tantra, and the middle one taught Kalachakra. Tantra is like the primary. So he taught like that way, and that's why they went to Shambhala, and 7 reigns of kings that time, and they stayed in Shambhala. And after that, I think 11 Karkis at that time. Approximately, you can say more than 1,000 years, only in Shambhala, not in the human realm. And then one day, very incredible virtuous family has a boy. It's not boy. It's man. He has so much, divine nature, and always, and he practiced a long time like this. He has message come from Shambhala. So come to Shambhala. So then he had a big journey, big journey, physical journey first, and then he met Shambhala Karki emanation, and then he they taught him something that he practiced and he accomplished.
Wow.
So that means that after that he can travel Shambhala. It's not like probably he's not a physical body walking in Shambhala.
No.
Probably not that.
Like-
It's he can emanate another form for Shambhala.
Yes.
That's why he brought Shambhala to this earth.
Yes.
But he hidden. He don't want to tell anybody. So he taught only 12 students. 12. And then all 12, they all become rainbow body. But one of them have more disciples. And then the third one, third to the lineage, this one, he revealed for everyone.
He revealed it.
Yeah, he revealed from Nalanda, at that time is Nalanda exists.
Yeah.
So Nalanda, he makes a statement, say, oh, anybody don't know the Kalachakra, don't think, or you know the completion. And then all the Panditas can debate him. And
How long ago was this?
how
long ago?
that is like more 10th century,
10th century.
when he rebuilt that.
Wow.
So, and that time then the Kalachakra is everybody in Nazareth. So everybody practice. So many become Mahasiddhas. More than, like all the different forms of Tantra have been long time practice. But how many become Mahasiddha through those? And Kalachakra only become Mahasiddha much more than all the others, they say. So then, like that way happened to India. And then transferred to in Tibet, 11th century.
Mhm.
The 11th century. So in Nalanda, the Pandita called Somanatha.
It's really helpful, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you. Yes, sister.
Actually, when you talk about the revealing, could it be said that the Kalachakra Tantra was one of Guru Rinpoche's talents? Showing the work that he did in Tibet. Maybe you can say that.
No, not commonly known any Rinpoche's teachings. There must not commonly known any Kalachakra. But in Rinpoche's story, he just said, I have, the Rigden Pama Kampo,
Yeah.
the second Kagri, he said that he's one of the group.
Mhm.
That's he said. That's all the information we have.
But one thing I would say, even though I'm not any master of it,
Yes.
is that
You're a master in different level.
well, I don't know. Basically, Guru Rinpoche did teach what is the highest tantra. He might not as in not the highest, but he definitely taught non-duality and inner union. And he showed so many different ways how to purify the mind and become in acceptance and embrace all something. So on that level, whenever I look at Rinpoche's books or I feel this transmission, it all leads back to the Dharmakaya, which was what Guru Rinpoche was helping other people to attain their true Buddha nature. So that's not different, that's the same, isn't it, on that level?
It's the same as Guru Rinpoche. I mean, it's not nobody taught. It's many Mahasiddhas and many taught. They taught, but they just saying the Kalachakra is more clear.
Yeah.
And the difference is the others. If you go deeper, then it's a little bit unclear. And the Kalachakra is more elaborate, more clear. The most high is much more detailed. That's the only difference. Okay.
One more?
Yeah.
Could you say something about selfless versus your unique self? So looking at the question of what's the purpose of life, you know, maybe it's like to serve unconditionally, be selfless, or maybe it's to develop, to understand yourself, to give your unique gifts. So I'm kind of wondering how the kind of, it sounds a bit like, oh, it's too much ego, but it's like, what is our uniqueness, and how does this come into the teaching of the Kalachakra, if it does?
So in general, I think there can be many misunderstandings, because when we say selfless in Western terms, it's English, selfless means, you know, like you. It doesn't mean you have no self. You always put everyone in front,
Yes,
before you. So understand that way. So that also is one part of Buddhist practice. No problem. Is we share, everybody share this. And then when we say in Buddhist say no self, we don't believe self, we don't believe self, like distance. That's how Buddhism, you know, like how to say, you can say fanatic Buddhism, or you can say no self, no soul, everything. So it have to be everything emptiness, empty. But always people go a little bit extreme. So sometimes I feel a little bit, sometimes some individual, the Buddhists also go like a little bit empty, and feel like it's a homeless, you know, like this, there's nothing,
so there's no purpose.
there's no purpose, like that can be think that way. So that's why this Kalachakra journal tradition is the Buddha nature is emphasized. The whole Buddhist believe Buddha nature, but who is the most clear and emphasize Buddha nature and more understandable, descriptive is the journal. So that means, you know, you can call self, doesn't matter, and because the Buddha's more profound teachings say self. You know, we call not self the normal ego self, not that one. It's the selfish self, not that one, but it's we call divine self, or you can say, you know, like Dhamma, Dhammi. So Dhammi means the holy self, or whatever you can say. You know, saying when you understand, then you can say just self. Even don't say holy or anything, still okay. But to help to understand, then you have to say the holy self, or the divine self, or the sacred self, or you can say something. That's not wrong, because that's Buddha nature.
Yes, same thing. I want to just go into your question a bit more to really, from my understanding of what I'm witnessing, that it's not selfish to feel the truth of your being. The whole of the practice is to reveal the truth of your being that doesn't come through left brain mind. It just comes as the ultimate expression of bodhicitta that leads you into the right activity within the divine plan, because you're moved within the Tao to go and do this and go and do that and help this, help that. And it just becomes the fruitfulness. It's like then now you're flowered and you come into your fruition. And it's not, you know, there's lots of courses you can go on to find your soul purpose, you know, but this, you don't need it with this, because you just start to just realize you're, in fact, that's the ultimate thing. And we didn't use the word empowerment. It's the Kalachakra through the Janang lineage becomes the empowerment of your true nature.
Yeah, empowerment means connecting, you know, connecting your true nature.
Am I right in thinking that, like, there's a point at which you realise that your true nature and your service just become one?
Yes.
And that there's a space where you find that thing that you feel is your service and your true nature, and then you do that.
I think so. I feel like that is it.
Yes, I think the danger is that if people say, oh, there's no self, nothing, then it's then what I do, like I even not exist, then it's no purpose, nothing. So, but it doesn't mean nothing because you have to feel something, right?
Yeah,
Whatever you do, you have to
Yes,
feel
you have
something.
to. You can't just become
You have to feel the meaning.
Exactly.
That you have to feel this deeper meaning. And whatever we do, even normal samsara things, still we need some kind of self.
And perception or just,
Yes. Yeah, we need this, and we need that, even that level of strength. We need
Is
that.
there a meditation that you could do?
Today
want
we
to-
will do a dedication, and that you will feel that, and it will be on the recording, so you can always listen to it. It's like a meditation, dedication, prayer that is through Rinpoche. We will close with that. But there is, that's a really important question that Sam's asked. What would you say is the best mantra or meditation practice that can really help everybody here to strengthen their alignment to their Buddha nature?
Yeah, Kalachakra mantra.
But when you say it to them slowly.
Kalachakra mantra, you have how do you say?
Short one, the Om Hacha Mala Hare something.
Yes, Om Hacha Mala Wara Yang Soha.
Quite hard to say. Should we say it a few times? Can we do that? Let's do it as a practice. It's very quick.
Om Hacha Mala Wara Yang Soha.
So
Om Hacha Mala Wara Yang
so 3 times.
Om Hacha Mala Wara Yang
So actually to do this 3 times, 7 times, 21 times, or 108 times, the more that you do it, the better. Literally, you will see changes quickly because it is a Vajra practice. You will see cleaning of obstacles, more synchronicity. You will feel more empowered, and you will feel the Buddhas and the Bodhisattvas blessing you as you say it, because you are invoking that as you say it. So maybe dear Yeshi, to please write this in the chat so that everybody can have access to this. That's because it's streamed live, and that you can see it and really include this in your practice, and that you can, visualize that you're seeing the Kalachakra, and even to then experience, like as you're saying it, that you're actually radiating it in your field, in your home, in your sanctuary, for your community, everybody that you see, that you can bless them with that. Sorry, I went off on a tangent.
Can I just say there's going to be a Kalachakra empowerment around equinox, so you could actually be fully initiated in to this online. Maybe you'd like to speak a little bit of this?
That's a good idea.
Yeah, we have Kalachakra empowerment one day.
Probably like the 22nd, 23rd, or 24th.
Yeah,
that weekend.
around there.
Yeah.
Conducted in border in US, but also we have come in here. How you explain?
Okay.
Vajravika.
Yeah, I will just say 2 things. So you can book to do that online. It's a very powerful thing to receive the full Kalachakra initiation. So that's equinox weekend, one just after the 21st on the Dzogchen site. But this weekend, how many of you here are coming to the empowerment this weekend, Vajravega, and the teachings of death and how to die consciously? How wonderful. I'm so happy that there's lots of you.
I haven't done anything about booking.
Don't worry, just come, we'll sort you out. But 10 a.m. on the Friday. So so Rinpoche has kindly accepted our request to come and give teachings on how to die consciously, how to support other people in their transition. In fact, I think that the whole of the Buddha's teachings is to prepare for that day of our great adventure and where we're going to go and are we focused. And that's very important. So he will give that through the Kalachakra teaching and the Poa teachings about all the different realms that you could go to if you're not focused, and how you could actually begin to direct your attention to want to take rebirth in the Pure Lands and then come back again.
It's also the people have questions always say, oh, if I go Shambhala, then how can I help this world? So I say, if you're able to go Shambhala, that means you can have many manifestations in this world to help, not just by yourself.
It's so true.
But if we help here, that's me, myself. But if you are Shambhala, then you can, that means you're able to go, Shambhala means you're able to manifest many of you here, and one in the Shambhala, and the others coming here.
I really agree with that. That's my reaction. Yes.
Rinpoche, how many years did it take you to complete the 6 Vajra Yogas, and what did you do after that?
How many years? Because every individual different, how long you so if you just go quickly full time, traditionally done in 3 years only. But if you really want an achievement, then somebody can, there is a lifetime dedication for maximum. The minimum is should be 6 months. It's depend on individual, Yeah, but if you just say traditionally or custom, only 3 years full time.
Thank you so much, Rinpoche. We're really, really, really grateful. We do have to close. I've just found out that we've gone 42 minutes over. I've asked that Victoria will put the dedication prayers. There are some books for sale here. And even if you don't have some cash, you can take a book and we'll take your email and send you the payment link. So you don't have to worry about that. So we can connect after we close this. Okay?
10 minutes over, isn't it?
Oh, sorry.
8:30.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. I said 42 minutes over. Okay. Okay, so let's just come into stillness so we can really focus this.
And this is a beautiful way by dedicating merit and dedicating your feelings. This is a really good first step to really developing your bodhicitta and getting on that path.
Yeah.
So please do join in the mind stream.
Thank you.
We may dedicate the prayers. By all these virtuous deeds of accumulated merit, may all beings be rescued from the ocean of samsara, where the tide of aging, sickness, and death is violently active. May this merit help all beings attain Buddhahood and be victorious over all the enemies of deceptive obscurations. By the goodness of what I have just done, may all beings complete the accumulation of merit and wisdom and gain the 2 sacred bodies. Whatever roots of virtue have been accumulated, now or throughout the 3 times, I dedicate them here so that all mother-like beings may attain perfect and complete Buddhahood. Just like the exalted ones, Manjushri and Samantabhadra practiced, like them, I rejoice in all the virtues still to come and fully dedicate them as well. In future lives, may I never be separated from my glorious Lama. May I never be separated from the joy of practicing the precious Dharma. May I accomplish all the enlightened Bhumi levels and paths and attain the Buddhahood of Vajradhara. As long as space remains, as long as beings exist, may I remain and expel their sorrows until they reach Buddhahood. May the precious renunciation arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious ethical discipline arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious bodhicitta arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious view of emptiness arise which has not yet arisen, and may that which has already arisen not degenerate, may it increase. May the precious Dharma be respected and remain in this world. The only medicine and cure for suffering, the source of all happiness, is the sacred Dharma. by the power of the three bodies of the Buddhas, immutable truth of the Dharma, by the power of the inseparable union of the Sangha, may all our wishes be fulfilled. Just like the morning sun rising in the sky, may these teachings of the unsurpassable great secret of all the Buddhas spread and flourish throughout this world. Through the profound aspirations of the Bodhisattva kings of Shambhala, may we manifest the glory of the second golden age in this world. May all of us Dharma brothers and sisters come to enjoy the good fortune of our courage and commitment. Om Swasti. Dharmakaya truth body, primordially free from stains of elaboration, inconceivable treasury of spontaneous clear light, perfect, pristine awareness of wisdom and compassion, appearing completely as the body of the deity, Guru Kalachakra, please protect us. Virtuous friend who is with the two Dharmas transmits an ocean of nectar, the compassionate blessings of Manjushri and all the victor's children that manifest as a magical display of enlightened activities. Beloved guide of incomparable wisdom, may you live a long and healthy life. Endowed with Samaya, Vajra disciples gather like clouds, roaring like thunder, the melodious sounds of Sutra and Tantra ring out, and the ambrosial rain that ripens and liberates, moistens the earth. May the great lotus garden of the Buddha's teachings flourish for all time.